This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Gianna, and special thank you to Sphere Rocket VA for making this all possible, and with another great guest. And I always tell people we always get the best content when I'm not even recording yet. So Dean and I have had a good talk already. We're super excited, and Dean, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yes, we're excited to have you. And I guess the best place to start is going to be at the beginning, Dean. So who are you? Where are you at now? And how did you find yourself a real estate agent?
Wow, that's a good place to start. So who am I? What a question to ask a guy who just turned 55, right? So normally I'd say, oh, I'm a real estate agent, I'm this and that. And now I have such weird answers, and weird society means awesome now. And so who am I? I'm love, I'm peace, I'm well-being, and I'm abundance. That's who I am these days. I currently live in British Columbia, in Canada. And I was born and raised on the East Coast back in Newfoundland. That's a little island 90 miles east of the mainland of Canada. And that's where I was born and raised. And real estate, I started my real estate career in Whitehorse, Yukon, way up near Alaska. And I found myself there as a young man. And that was in the year 2000. So that's when it all started.
Awesome. Okay. So fast forward to the year 22 and you're killing the game. You're an Icon agent. You're loving it. You've been doing it a while now. But did you start out with EXP, or who was your first brokerage, and how did you get introduced to EXP to make that move?
Right. Okay. So going back where it first started, I was with Century 21 for around, I think it was like just 2 or 3 months. And these group of ladies had surrounded me back in my youth, and they said, oh my God, you'd just be so good in real estate. And so I thought, okay, I'll just jump right into that. And once I got into the doors of that particular brokerage, it just wasn't working. So then I switched immediately to Remax. And when you say, yeah, you didn't start out an Icon agent, you're so right. I was the first 8 months with Remax, and I was a go-getter. I was motivated, man, to sell, and I did not sell one property in 8 months. Of my first 8 months, I didn't do anything, and so that was always a interesting way to start your career. And not because I wasn't doing anything, I just hadn't tapped in, that kind of thing, and when it did take off, it really took off.
That's awesome. So why would you say, this isn't one of my questions typically, but why would you say, you didn't sell a house for your first 8 months? Was there too much to learn? Was there no focus? Was there lack of leads?
Well, back in those days, which, it's only 20 something years ago, but there was no leadership for me. I walked into a building and they congratulations, man. Wow. Here's the world. And yet there was no leadership. There was nobody telling me what or how to do anything. And I remember feeling a little bit shocked at that. Now, I did have a really beautiful man, Daryl, my broker, but again, he had many other agents to deal with, and I was, out keeping busy. And so I would say that was the main thing. I didn't have anybody to sit down. I didn't know the word mentor at that point. I didn't even know what that meant. That sounded so foreign to me because, again, all I'd done so far up to that, into that youthful, I was just at my late 20s. And so I was just an unconscious competent. I was just going at whatever I thought could make a few bucks and just get at her and get her done. And so when you walk into a new industry and there's nobody helping you, point you in the right direction of what to do, I was just doing what I had been told to do by the masses, and it wasn't working. And so it was only after I went to a quick conference and realized you only need one really good idea to change the whole lifespan of your career. And so I picked up a really good couple of ideas, came back, and then I started to implement them. And then after the 8 months, it started to kick in, and then look out.
Absolutely. No, that's incredible. And, there is a lot going on, for brokers, and they can't always focus on all their, I guess, ducklings, if you will. So I can see why it was difficult to start. But okay, so, you got introduced to EXP. You're over here now. There's structure, there's mentorship, there's collaboration, there's stock share, rev options, or revenue options. Rev
Rev share.
share, stock options. Oh my gosh. And
Right.
anyway, so what keeps you with EXP, Dean? What makes you say I'm never leaving this place?
Well, let's back that up just a second, because in that whole 20-something years, I was a red, white, and bluer, right? And I mean, that brokerage was really good to me, and I didn't really feel the need for any change for all those years. And we were killing it. I'd become number one in our market share there, and we're on the top thing. We're on the top list for like the 10 years I was with Remax. And then when I decided to leave provinces, though, so not states, in Canada we call them provinces. So I was doing my career in Whitehorse, Yukon, and then I had a life change, and so it brought me down to British Columbia. So then I was here, and I took a few years off. I had 5 years off the industry. I had wrote a book. It became a bestseller. It was a lot about real estate as well. And so I was going around, and I was actually doing conferences and doing, some stand up, not comedian, but stand up, sharing my story and helping other people, learn some of the tools that they could use to improve the quality of their life. And so I found myself down in British Columbia. And so then my daughter was just turning of the age where she wanted to have a career. And she says, Dad, I would love if you came back into the business. I mean, even though you hung up your license, you're still with Remax in one game, but in another breath, would you like to unhang it and come with me, and let's just see if we can do this whole real estate thing together in a new province? So I thought, okay, that's going to be great. So we started it. So we came into this British Columbia. We were here for 3 or 4 years, and I was introduced to EXP, a new business model. And I'm like, guys, no, I've been with Remax. I'm a red, white, and blue. That's really nice. Call me in a year, whatever. It's all good. So I had a buddy of mine, and he kept persistence. He wasn't annoying, but he was persistent. And he was like, he would call me up and go, so Dean, how are things going? And, I was like, well, I'm pretty busy. We're doing okay. My daughter's okay. We're fitting in. But then I had to take a true look at how I really felt in my heart. And I'm like, you know what? There is something that I'm missing these days. And I don't know if I am in harmony with all that's being offered with that current brokerage while I was here. And so it started me thinking. So that little phone call every few months kept me thinking about, okay, maybe I will explore it. So this is going to be a magical part of this podcast. I didn't know it was going to come out till right now, but I just thought about it. And so I remember getting to a point where I had my assistant at the time take all the brokerages in our town of Nanaimo, and I said, listen, let's do a spreadsheet. Let's start looking at everything, and let's see where the numbers really add up, and let's see where EXP fits in this business model. And so when it all really came down to it, we did our research. And it wasn't all about the numbers. What had started happening unconsciously for me was that I was starting to feel something out of my heart. And it was more of there's a community here. There is a authenticity that I have never felt in a brokerage before. This is not just about business. This is not just about the numbers. There's also the fact about, you just touched base on a couple of seconds ago. It's like there's a revenue share component to this brokerage. And then I'm hearing all the rumors and people are saying, no, that's just another network marketing thing. But I also read the book by Robert Kiyosaki, the 20th century marketing. And I thought, oh my God, Dean, this might be just the biggest gift you've ever been given. So let's take it more serious, and let's go in and execute some exploration here. So I took everything I had. Here's the magical part. I took everything I had. I put it on my boat, and I said, I'm going to go away for 10 days, and I'm going to go on a vacation. And I'm going to study this business model, and I'll come back, and I'm either going to do it or I'm not. I want to make a move. Yeah. So, so I started thinking about the revenue share. Wow. Because as a real estate agent, in most cases, you're only as good as your last paycheck. And all of a sudden, we always look at insurance agents like, oh my God, you have this insurance policy for the rest of your life. I get paid out on it. There's money that comes in, a residual income, for all the work you've done. And it's not at the expense of your clients. Your clients are still your clients. You're going to treat them the best they've ever been treated, but you get a little bit of residual income come in because you've introduced other people to this model. So I'm on my boat. I'm on the 10-day trip, and I'm into a place called Friday Harbor, Washington. I'm at a dock, and I'm parked. And I see this other nice boat come in right next to me. And I'm like, so when you're a boater, I don't know, Gianna, if you've been boating before, but boaters we're all really nice people. So you show up at a dock, guy gets off his boat, and he comes in and goes, hey, dude, nice boat. And I'm like, yeah, nice boat for you, man, whatever. And that's great. So we're just, having a beer at the dock kind of thing. We spent 2 days together around each other. And it's never been my protocol to go, hey, what do you do? That's not my thing, because what you do doesn't define who you are. If I like you, I don't care what you do. Are you kidding me? How you express yourself to the planet is none of my business right now today. I like you for who you are this moment, and that's being present. So 2 days later, we're on the boat. I invited this guy over to my boat. We're sitting down having a few glasses of wine, and we're making a few crab legs, I think, on the back barbecue. And finally it comes out, and I said to this guy, I said, so how do you express yourself to the planet? I mean, now that I like you, I'd like to know more about you. Well, he says, I started a little company. He said, it's called EXP. I said, you what? He says, I started a company. He says, we called it EXP. He says, my name, and I knew his name was Glenn. He says, Glenn Sanford. And he said, yeah, he says, I started it a few years ago. So he says, I said, shut up. I said, just stop talking right now. I said, I got to grasp this. I said, I have a folder right behind my couch here that I'm on a trip right now to explore everything you created. And I said, guess what? I don't even need to read it anymore. I love you. I'm joining EXP. And that's how I come to join. And Glenn and I have been friends ever since.
Dean, that's so crazy. You want to talk about chaos? That's chaos, but like an organized chaos, like this is meant for you, Dean. You're supposed to be here.
Totally.
That's super cool. That's so crazy.
And that's how we met. So I came back on my boat that trip, and it was in September. And by the February of 2019, 21, 22, February 2020, we made the move, and it was done. And we haven't looked back. Oh no, February, it would have been 19. Yeah, it would have been 2019. So 2021, 22, because I've been an icon now 3 years. Mm-hmm. And so I came back, I just called up our brokerage and says, guys, it's been a real pleasure, but guess what? My heart is now gone with the real deal. And, and some of the, and what was interesting was, and again, it was never about the money. It wasn't all about the rev share at that point. I just felt there was a group of people that they want to give back to the planet. It feels like a green company to work for. And just knowing that they were in the world and the Airbnbs of real estate, and they're, I just thought, wow, this is the right fit. And so it was about how I felt. And when they asked me a lot about numbers, and you did too, and when you sent me the questionnaire, you're like, well, what are your numbers for this year? And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to sound probably the most odd it ever is going to be for this girl when she hears me say, I actually don't know my numbers. I don't operate that way. We've always just operated. How do you feel today? How do you want to express yourself? And what's going on in your life? How can you be of service to other people today? Keep that at the top of your list. And it's not about us. Get control of that ego, and you won't worry about your numbers. And so then every now and then I look up and I'm like, oh my God, so I hit icon again. I didn't know it. I don't know it till it shows up in the mail. And so that's always been that's just who we are.
No, that's incredible. And, it's always best like to icon that way, right? You're just doing your job. You're just putting people in homes. You're just doing your thing, coming to work every day, and boom, You're an icon. That's incredible. And that's really exciting. So obviously, Dean, you really liked the guy that built the place, and that spoke levels about the company. You're like, man,
Sure.
I'm vibing with this guy. It seems like we are collabing really well. And then sure enough, I don't know what the odds would be, 1 in a million to meet in there, but that's incredible. So, okay. So we like EXP. It feels like home to you. There's an awesome collaboration factor here for you. And Dean, before we dive into more information about the Icon Award, I would like to know, what do you do to take care of yourself? Like, obviously you do check-ins, right? So you asked me to describe my day in one word today. So, do you communicate that well? Do you do that every day? How do you make sure that you're taking care of Dean?
Wow, that's a beautiful question. And this is my favorite topic about talking about balance, the equanimity. The name of my boat is Equanimity. And equanimity means balance of mind. I never always had balance, and I don't claim to have balance every day of my life either. I mean, it's still a challenge. I struggle with it because of my own, I'm going to say, the habits that I've created over the years. But what I can say is I have fell upon a bit of a formula that can help me, a bit of a recipe, as one would say, to be aware, I guess, of when my barometer here is going too high, and I don't have that flexibility in how I feel. What am I trying to say here? So going back to your question, I have this barometer in my life, and I go from my tummy to my head, and it's called my stress barometer, right? And so it's like, so hey, Dean, if something should happen in your life today, where's that barometer? Will it go right through your head and you're going to explode, or is it down in your belly somewhere where it's like, hey, something can happen, and I'll still be quite equanimous. So these particular days, my barometer is around underneath my chin. So that's awareness for me. Is like, Dean, you need to get out now and go for your walk. You need to get up and have that alone time. And so when it goes back, I talk about in some of our pillars to our success here as our little team now. It's all about a person, a place, a book, and an affirmation. And so that's how we maintain the quality of life that we're living. And so when I say a person, it's about a mentor. And so one of my mentors was Bob Proctor, who unfortunately we just passed away a few months or just a few weeks ago. And Wayne Dyer was my spiritual guru and my mentor. So when I was listening to these people and reading their books, that was part of my part of the goal was to find out how I could live a more balanced life. And one of the things was getting up really early in the morning and finding that quiet place. And when I say part of those 4 pillars was a place, find that quiet place where you're going to have some alone time. So I find when I get up really early in the morning, like 4:54, that's when my eyes open. When I get up, and if I go sit in my chair and I just do a little bit of meditation, and sometimes meditation can be very difficult, or maybe not. Maybe we make it more difficult than it could be. Just sit in a chair and just be quiet. And if your mind spins, allow it to spin. Don't be attached to any result with it. And so having that little bit of quiet time really helps my day. And then being able to sit down and what am I reading? And so, if you read 20 minutes 3 times a day, that's an hour a day. It's like going to school. It's like 9 40-hour work weeks in a run of a year. That's like getting a degree, for God's sake. So what are you reading? So if you're reading something that's able to come in and help you find that peace that you need to live your life in that certain manner, that's where we're at. And today I continue to read the book called Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And it talks all about, hey, you are not the voice inside your head. You're the person who is listening to the voice. You're the observer of the voice. And so it actually brings me back down. So by the time I do get to the office and I've had my alone time, I've read some good books, I've said my affirmation, and I've got my outdoor time in, I can be coming in here and I can be more balanced than ever I would versus jumping out of bed and going right to the office and going, what the hell's going on? So that's right. What I do to take care of me when I need this. And am I always balanced? And does that always happen every day? No. But when it does happen, I know that the results are always where I need it to be. And that allows me to come here and be at my best for the team and for my clients that I'm servicing that day.
Absolutely. No, I love that. And, whatever it is that does recharge you, maybe it's meditation, like you said, reading a book that fuels you, a book that makes you better, or a rom-com, who cares? Watching your favorite TV show, if that recharges you and allows you to be your best self, that's A-okay. Do it, be disciplined with it, because I know it's easy to go to that next episode when you're supposed to be doing something, or read that next chapter when you're supposed to be doing something. But it's so important to take care of yourself in those aspects. So I really like that, Dean. Thank you for sharing. And I'm sorry for the loss of your mentor. Those are never easy losses, but I am sorry.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, he was. He wrote the foreword for my book, and again, he's just been one of those guys where you're not in harmony with everybody you listen to, right? And so I've always tried to find the person that that works for me, the voice, the tonality, the what they teach. And this guy Wayne or Bob Proctor really dialed it in for me. And I attended every one of his seminars every time he was in Canada, and so we got to know each other. And he become a friend and a mentor. So
yeah, absolutely. I love that. The best mentorships are the ones that are organic and they've got that spark and they just came to be. So that's incredible. Well, Dean, let's talk about the Icon Award through your eyes, right? So the first question, and those you mentioned the question I asked about numbers. Sorry, podcasters and people that have been on the Icon Award show before, I don't look at those numbers. That was from when Justin was running the show, and me not being from the real estate industry, those numbers mean nothing to me. They should, and they will one day, but not right now. So for now, I like to just kind of translate it to Dean, how many houses did you have to sell in your market to hit Icon?
And so again, I'm going to be caught right off guard. I actually don't know. I cannot give you a number this very moment. I just don't. I ran out just before the podcast started. I ran out and I said, "Does anybody know what our production was last year?" And they're like, "No, I think it's in a spreadsheet somewhere." And so I actually don't know. It takes me around 4 months probably. I mean, usually it's in April, and I think so. In order to become Icon, like production wise, I think you gotta pay $16,000, I think, in fees or something like that. And so, but now that should depend on each market, because if you're selling houses at an average of 500,000, obviously it's going to take longer. Our market right now, the average sale of a home is $1 million, so it's probably going to take me half the time. Yeah. So honestly, again, I am the non-numbers guy. So I look forward to hearing one of your numbers guys, because they'll be able to rhyme this off to you. And I've always been this way. When we were number one back in the day in Yukon, people would run into my office and they go, "Oh my God, Dean, congratulations." I would be like, "What?" And they're like, "Oh, but you've not hit the number one sales." Like, "Oh, cool. All right, have a good day." And so this just never been my motivation. So, and again, it's not that the way it is today.
Yeah,
So,
no,
oops.
that's okay. And that's, usually on average anyway, it's like from 30 to 35 houses, maybe up to 40 in a cheaper market. So
Yeah.
we'll roll with that because that's about the answer I get from everyone.
And that's my
But
truth. And so that is my truth. Yeah.
that's okay. I'm not mad at you. This
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
it's not a trick question. This isn't a game show. We're just talking. So that's fine
Yeah.
by me.
Yeah.
Dean, so I guess we can ask though, how do you give back to EXP as a cultural part of the award, right? Are you a
Oh, yeah.
mentor? Do you teach? You wrote a book. So just kind of tell me, how do you give back in this phase of your life where you feel like you need to give back more to the world and um what's your avenue for it?
Yeah, so in that EXP, or in our company EXP, we have a university, and that university, of course, is comprised of a lot of different components. And from my perspective, what I love to do most, and which COVID took it away from me, was standing on stage and speaking. And so I was able to meet my cultural guide by doing, I think it was 6 different 1-hour shows, just like this, almost like a podcast, but it's called Teaching in the World. And so you just go on stage and you shake your avatar around and you talk about what it is that you ever wanted to talk about that day. And I brought up the things about effective education, and that was the part that I taught last year. And so I did 6 different episodes of effective education, and we took a lot of Q&A, and we just talked about what is required to live that life that we want to live in a balance with your family and your work life and taking care of yourself. And so I called it the other side of the coin. And because for me, it's not all about making the money. I had 2 stages in my career. The first part of my career, when I worked for Remax, I woke up at the end of that almost career, and I was very unhappy, sick, and broke. And I had worked myself right into the ground, and I had got 2 divorces, and I mean, I was a hot mess train wreck from hell. And again, I didn't have any mentors that surrounded me, and so part of my giving back on these episodes was, boy, I want to tell everybody that I know if I was to ask any question here right now, like what's the most important thing to every real estate agent on the planet, they're going to say, there's my family, my God, of course. And it was for me too, but I got so busy, and I hadn't surrounded myself of with like-minded people that wanted to improve our lives and save our families. So I went off on my own little game, and it didn't work out so well. Oh, I was the richest guy on the block, and I had the most toys, I had the biggest house, I was the most miserable, I was the most unhappy at the end of the 10 years, and I was literally broke. And so I thought, in my second career, I said, dear God, here's the deal. If you give me one more chance at this thing, when I start this thing with my daughter, I want to do it different. And I want to do it with a different mindset. And I want to see if I can do it in a different town and maintain my health and maintain my family and happiness, and be able to help other agents understand that you too could fall into this trap. But listen, allow me to speak, and share you my story, because this may help you. And so when I talk about the pillars, the new pillars for our new business, that's what I talk about. It's, what's your book? Where's your place that you go hide and recharge yourself? Because I didn't do this in my first career. What books are you reading? What are the affirmation? I am so happy and glad. I'm so happy now that I've, achieved this or done that, or where's my health, and, who am I? And what books are you reading, and who's your mentors? And these are the things that I didn't do in my first career. And now that I've done them in my second career, I can tell you that the game is different. And so that's my way of giving back, is to be able to help people understand that you might be in your 20s and you think you got this thing nailed, but it too can happen to you, where you get so busy, you wake up 10 years later and all of a sudden, what the hell just happened? So I think my new mandate on the planet as a real estate agent to give back is to be able to help people understand, keep it balanced right from the start. And that's the habit that you really want to get into if you want to, again, live this healthy life and have a great family life. Now, lucky for me, I got my family back. I mean, I got my kids back, and, we're all together still. And so I feel that was my learning lesson, and so I wouldn't do the same thing again, what I did, to that
Right.
level.
Yeah, no, that's an incredible story and an incredible way to give back. And, a lot of agents, when I ask them, what's your work-life balance? How do you take care of yourself? They laugh, right? They're like, ha, ha, ha. When I find that out, I'll call you back, right? And so to have a tool for them out there just to kind of, find that balance and to, understand that the world's not going to be theirs all the time, I think that that's awesome. And I think that's an invaluable, piece of information that you released and shared. And I think it's just incredible. It's easy to lose sight. And I've talked to a lot of agents that have lost sight of that home life, and being able to delegate, what's important to you. Sometimes
being able to let it go. That's right. And having help and surrounding yourself by people that can help. And because when in my first career, again, I never so much as had an assistant, right, for pretty much the whole career, because I didn't trust anybody. And it's like, Dean, now how sad was that? But I mean, again, that was my journey. And I look back and go, I had to go through all that to get here. I understand that. But what's nice is I can help these younger people go, okay, you know what, you can't do it all. You can't be everything to everybody all the time. So let's bring it in. Let's share a little bit of that money that you're making and have an assistant that's going to, cover you, and you go out and do what it is that you really do best. I'm not a fan of trying to improve a part of your life that you're no good at, because you're no good at it for a reason. So, so let it go. Find someone else who's good at that, and find what you're really good at, what's your genius, and go out and just rock your genius. Don't worry about other stuff, and just make sure you got support around you.
Does this go for working out too, Dean? I'm really bad at exercise. Can I find somebody else to do that for me?
Honey, you are talking to the wrong guy for that one. I'll do a walk in the park and do some force bathing, but the working out thing, yeah.
Well, when you write that second book on how to find somebody to exercise for you, you let me know. I'll be the first to buy it. That's awesome, Dean. That's incredible. And I'm really excited that you were able to share that today. And, I'm sure it's a huge asset. Tell us, the title so that people can find that if they're listening right now one more time.
Oh, the title to your
book. Yeah.
Oh, Stop Wishing, Start Winning. And here it is right there.
Yeah.
Right
there. Cute. Right. I love it.
Yeah, totally. So and and it's opened up a lot of doors for me. And that's what brought me to leave that other province to move here. I got invited down to speak at a conference, and that's opened up the doors when we ended up here. And then we've created our little goal card, our affirmation card, right? So I look at the back of this. I'm going to show that to you. Here's my little goal card. And so we write on that, and we look at our goals every day. And I mean, that's just something to remind you, and it's like, keep it in your wallet and take it out. And when you feel it, you got to be emotional with the idea. And so that's one of my things. One of those pillars we talked about is an affirmation, right? I am so happy and glad, now that I am in an easy and relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way, now achieving all my goals by doing X, Y, and Z. And dear God, thank you so much. And, make me an instrument of thy love, thy peace, well-being, and abundance. And so if we're attached to an affirmation that we have a feeling about, it has no choice but manifest. And that's what I really love about these ideas. I mean, if you're not emotional about the idea, you might as well just leave it at home, because it's not going to happen. But when you're emotional about these ideas, and you can seal it and see it, feel it, and touch it, whether it's going to be, killing it at 100 homes a year or 200 homes a year, or having a little team or a big team, this is where you're going to get it. And it's going to get it through an affirmation. And that's why I'm so passionate about these new pillars that I've created, or not I created, but I adopted into our relationships with money and real estate. We adopted that, and it's working. And so this is what helps get me right here. And I'm 55 and the happiest I've ever been in my life. And so I'm really happy that, we can say, well, at least we got on the right path, right? So,
No, that's incredible. I'm gonna have to. Does the book come with a copy of the affirmation card?
It does not, but I mean, when people reach out to me, and again, you can certainly leave my contact information. I love putting these in the mail to people. I'll send these all over the planet.
Yeah, I need you to send me one, and then I think my dad would love one.
I love it. And kids especially, kids have no paradigms with them already, right? Because they just wake up and, you can look at your little girl or little boy and just, you can tell them that they can go conquer the world, and they believe you. And so we've been giving these to parents at different seminars, and then I've been getting emails going, oh my God, Dean, my kid wrote this on the back of a card, and then she won the science fair the next year. It's like, because wow, I mean, that was so important to her, and she was able to do it, and she got emotional with the idea. And so that's the big thing about, so I always call this the spiritual side of real estate. So, I am practicing now the spiritual side of real estate, and it's really working out really well. And I think the balance that it brings in, the giving back aspect, and the feedback coming back from people going, Dean, I tried that, and oh my God, it works. And so, and I didn't invent none of this stuff. This is just, hey, I went to all the conferences. I kind of just put together everything that worked for me, and I talk about it. And so sometimes it works for people, sometimes it doesn't, right? Because again, what works for me might not work for you. But all you need is one little idea to help change the way, you live life or anything, and everything can change. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. And so that's about perspective and getting to know your intellectual faculties and, this spiritual side of person's personality. Understand that we have everything it takes to live whatever life that we want to live. And EXP is the platform. If you're into real estate, this is the platform to achieve that. And so, it's a good deal. And I know it's not all about EXP, but it is, that's part of the whole icon thing. You don't have to think about it if you're living it.
Dean, I love that. And, we're going to be little pen pals because I told you I'm sending you brownies. I'm going to need some affirmation cards.
I love it. Oh, I love it.
That's awesome. We've talked about how you give back to EXP, which is incredible. That's a huge piece. And apparently, you're very emotionally attached to that, which is incredible. It means you're putting your heart into it. So I want to move on to the next part of the question, right? What's your favorite part about being an icon agent? Is it the nice, pretty award? Is it the fact you get to go to EXP Con and shareholders, maybe getting your cat back in stock, giving back to EXP World? What's your favorite aspect of it?
Wow. Well, goals give our life meaning. That's why we set goals, right? And for me, again, I go back because I'm an exception to the rule. I'll still feel the same whether I achieve icon or not. But the thing is, that icon thing it's a result. It's the result of something now. And so for me, the most favorite part of that is just knowing that, wow, I was able to take information that I had learned from this renewal of my soul, and I was able to recreate the same results as I was on, back in the day. But look at my life now; I'm much happier getting these results. So when I see that, that's the thrill it gives me. And of course, let's talk about money. I love money. Money loves me. So I'm not afraid of it, and I have a great relationship with money. So, oh my God! So when you achieve icon and they actually give you back, the money that I paid in to be part of it. I mean, this is a no-brainer. So this is again a byproduct of living your life the way you want to live it. So this is nothing but a byproduct. And so, yes, that just thrills me. And so now it gives me the opportunity to help people. So if I knew I was only one deal away from helping a whole bunch of people, that would be a big motivator for me to get icon for sure. So these are byproducts that I get the opportunity to talk to people about how we got here. I get the opportunity to watch my stock options grow. And so there's nothing wrong with that. And then I get to go meet other individuals that are incredible individuals. And when you're like-minded and your awareness has got you to that level where you can sell icon, well, then you get new ideas. And then you want to know, well, hey, how can we help more people become icon? And so there's a flow of really nice things that go on.
Absolutely. No, that's incredible. And it's an awesome award. There's so many levels to it. And each of them, is with good intent and, bettering people. And I think it's an incredible award. And Dean, let's talk about some rookies now, right? So like I told you, I just got my real estate license, right? I just passed my test on Saturday. Say I joined your team.
Yes.
And you're my mentor. And I'm coming up to you like, hey, Dean, like EXP is pretty cool and all. Like, I should probably be worried about getting a pipeline of leads going or this going, but I'm going to icon this year. I think that's going to be my big goal. What would you have to say to me about that? Would you knock me down a level and have a realistic talk with me? Would you be like, okay, here's how we're going to do it? Or maybe, where are some areas that you had failed in that you can share with a rookie to make sure they don't make the same mistake?
All right. Number one is I'd say congratulations. And I want to be here to help you icon this year. Hell yeah. I wouldn't. Are you kidding me? Let's get your affirmation cards out and let's make sure you got the right books lined up to read. And I think, first of all, right off the bat, I'd be encouraging you, if you joined our team, well, then we already have systems in place. If you didn't, I'd be like, okay, here's the deal. If you're going to icon this year, and this is your first year, you have so much to learn. I ask you what your strong points are first. What are your strong points?
Dean, I can make a friend out of anybody. I could talk to a wall if I wanted to. I know no stranger. That's probably one of my strong points, but I've never written an offer letter. I don't know how to do any of that, but I'm not afraid to talk to people.
All right, excellent. Because that's where it first starts. So I would feel that what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have some help for you to do all the things that are not necessary for you to be. We need your support to be in place. And so then, as a mentor, I'd be like, okay, don't you worry about writing your offer, because you get this person right. You find this home for your friend who wants to purchase the home. I will sit and I will write every offer with you right up until the fact that you say, Dean, I don't need you anymore. So that's what I'll do for you. And then we'll have support staff in the back to help you do all the paperwork, because that's not important right now. It's important that it gets done, but it's not important that you do it. If you're going to do Icon, let's get you out there and do what you do best and get on the street, and let's just start selling you. And that's just about meeting people. I meet most of my people. I'm not ashamed of this, but it's in a bar or somewhere. It's like when I go out and have drinks on a Friday night, this is where I pick up most of my clients. And at the end of the day, like, oh my God, it was nice to meet you. And then the next thing you know, you're doing business and they got friends who got friends. So I would start right there with saying, hey, first thing I want you to do is implement some systems. I want to understand what your habits are in a day. And we are going to be I'm going to be training you like you're an Olympian athlete. And now we are Olympic, like game day is coming up, sister, and we are going to get you ready for it. And if you want to get into that, we can start watching all the Rocky series, and we'll get you up early in the morning beating on the drums. And that's what we're going to do. So it's right from, if you want to commit to doing that, you'll commit to what this program will put you on. And and there's every day, you get to do it all over again. So if you fail a little bit in one day because you didn't call how many leads that you needed to call, it's okay. This is not about a beat up session. This is about getting to know you. And so that's where I would start with you. So does that mean you're moving to Canada now?
Yeah, that was my next line. You rubbed it right out of my mouth. I'm moving to Canada, Dean. Make room for me and my dog. We're on our way. We're going to start driving tonight. That's awesome. So that's really cool. And I love that, it's positive. It's like, hey, rookie, we love your ambition. And it's not that we're knocking you down. It's like, okay, are you willing to put in the work? Here's the game plan. And I love that. That's really cool. That's the truth. And the truth of the matter, sorry, I interrupt you, but the truth of the matter is, we do hear about a lot of agents. They come on and they commit until they get there, and then all of a sudden it's not the same. So I ask people to really check in with their level of commitments. What's your why? Go listen to Simon Sinek on the YouTube or the TED Talk, and you figure out what your why is. Right? You want to know why. Why you're doing this. So what is your why? And when you figure out what your why, and you can really dial in your motivation for that and get your strong points put out, this is what's going to help set you up for success. Because, a lot of people can do a lot of things. And sometimes people say, Dean, aren't you afraid about giving it all the secrets? It's like secrets. There's no secrets here. Are you kidding me? Most people on the planet wouldn't do what I'm willing to do for the next 6 months to do Icon. And so I'm not worried about that. And so I just give out the information. It's up to you what you do with it. Now, at the same breath, if you want to do it and you got that motivation coming from it, we have a recipe here that works and we'll support it. So it's all about following the motivation and knowing your why and starting the habits right from day one about the person, place, book, and an affirmation. Let's get your effective education into action now. Absolutely. No, I love that. No, that's incredible. And, knowing your why and putting in the work and doing what others won't to get to that point, it speaks for itself. I love that. And Dean, to bring me to my final question, it is about people who are on the fence, right? So you first were introduced to EXP. You're like, okay, I like this model. Let's look at the numbers. Oh gosh, it's too good to be true. I'm really going to study this because people in the industry are like, oh my gosh, it's a pyramid scheme. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. It's a cold.
Totally.
It's not right. It's right. And so, what would you have to say to either yourself all that time ago or to somebody sitting on the fence that may be listening right now, wondering if EXP is the right move for them?
Right. Well, I sat on the fence, so I know what it's like. And if I didn't sit on the fence, because I didn't jump right on board. I had a great little career and I had my daughter all set up. And we're starting to expand the team. And so this was a horrific decision because, again, I didn't know what was in the future. Nobody does. Mm-hmm. And again, for me, sitting on the fence, I would encourage you to revisit your why as a person, no matter if you've been in the business for X, Y, or Z. When we talk about residual income, now, because usually money is usually at the top of the list for most people. It's like, well, residual income, I go back to what I said earlier. As a real estate agent, we can be in this business our whole life. Most real estate agents that I've met, they don't put away for their retirement like they would have wanted to. We earn big, we spend big, we got big taxes, we like nice cars, we nice holidays, we love our family. And you wake up, unfortunately, where most people didn't invest the money that they probably wanted to, and because life gets in the way, your kids need braces, and everybody's going to college, and that's not cheap, and all of a sudden your spouse stopped working because of whatever, and then you wake up and you're 55, and all of a sudden it's like, my God, I don't really have much. Oh shoot, the dog, what have I done? And so if you go back and you look at that why and go, wow, what do I want my life to look like when I retire? And let's start looking backwards. And so being on the fence, it's not all about your monthly expenses. It's just not about that. There's going to be a couple of different factors. One of them, of course, is that stock option. Wow, we get to buy stock. Back here in Canada, we have a company called WestJet. They first started out, it's the airline flight, the airlines.
Yeah.
And so they always had other owners were all the people that were shareholders. And so that they since switched from that business model. But when I bring up the WestJet business model, and people they love that idea. It's like, what, I can be part owner of this? Yeah, totally. And you can give up some of your percentages to buy stock. And I'm like, no kidding. So for me, that only became, again, that was the byproduct of me joining EXP. So what was the real reason? So the bigger reason for me to make that loop was I felt there was something different about how I felt. It was my heart center that was in harmony with how Glenn has set up this company and he's doing business, how he wants to give back to the agent centric, but our clients don't suffer, and nor does the person that if you're going to join EXP and I'm going to be your mentor and I'm going to be earning money because of people that you're going to bring into our EXP world, you don't suffer about that. There's nobody paying the price, and that's the model that Glenn set up, where that's why they do the 60-40 split, because that 40% goes into taking care of the business, and it takes care of everybody that needs to be working because of that business. And so the client doesn't suffer. Mm-hmm. The real estate agents don't suffer. We get the bonuses. I mean, then I open up my eyes and go, are you kidding me? This is a no-brainer. Oh my God. What was I thinking? So the only thing that stopped me for the 2 years of hanging out on the fence was fear. And what's the opposite of fear? It's courage. So take that plunge, put on your big boy girl panties and just make the plunge, if that's where you're at, if you're on the fence. Now, if you're not on the fence, I mean, do your research. You got to, it's got to feel right for you. But when you start digging deep into what I call the things that matter in this world, is about, the empathy that the world needs right now. I find I'm surrounded by that with EXP agents. Now, I'm not saying that other agents, part of all these brokers, don't have empathy. I mean, they got a thing going on and it's great for them. But when you look at all the big picture put together and the bonuses that we'll get for just doing what it is we love to do, why wouldn't you be with EXP? Oh my God. So for me now, being 2.5 years in, I shake my head and I smile. Like there's no other brokerage on the planet that I would ever be with after this. And again, we have some beautiful agents with all other brokerages. I mean, God bless them. But at the end of the day, this is the right one for me if you want to live straight out of your heart center.
Right. I love that. That's incredible. And it's just an awesome brokerage. I just got my real estate license, and after talking to these icons all day, every day, why would I not join EXP? I mean, come on. So it's been incredible. And Dean, we're actually creeping up here on we're coming up on 45 minutes. So for the guy that didn't know what the hell he was signing up for and almost deleted my email, by the way, listeners, send hate mail. I'm just kidding. Yeah. But I think it's been an incredible episode for you, not knowing what was going to come out of this. So thank you so much for your time. I think it's been awesome. And is there anything that you want to leave the listeners with as we wrap up today?
Oh, wow. Well, number one is thanks for having me, because I just feel overwhelmed with gratitude that I can actually just be here. And my encouragement would be to you and everybody that's listening is be who you are to what you do. And you will always have whatever it is you want. Surround yourself with people that, that are like-minded and they feel things. It's not just about logical answers to a lot of this stuff, right? Because this is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful world. And if we can be present with ourselves and I think there's a beautiful life to be had, right? So yeah, just go out and be who you are to what you do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me today. I'm super excited to see what else you're able to accomplish this year. And I would love to get connected with you at EXPCon and shareholders. So let's just keep in touch. Okay. I will be looking for one of those, not ambition cards, affirmation cards.
Yes. I call it the goal card. Yeah. Thanks for having me. And again, blessings to everybody.
Thanks, Steve. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success, and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.